everyone, my name is Emily and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I will be setting up my new 2021 bullet journal. I decided to start off 2021 in a new notebook. I only had a few pages left in my previous notebook, plus starting fresh for the new year just sounded like a good idea. This notebook that I'm using is the B5 size from Archer and Olive. I decided to try out this bigger size because I found myself feeling a little bit cramped in the A5 that I was previously using. So here I'm just setting up my key. I haven't used the key before and I figured that I would include one because sometimes I use different markings for different things and then I get confused later. So it's just nice to have a key that I can refer back to throughout the year as I am filling out my bullet journal. So you can see the different markings I have, but I just have one for task, completed, in progress, migrated, canceled, an event, a note, a birthday, travel, which hopefully we'll get to do this year, and YouTube. So just stuff related to my videos. You can see here that I am unsure of what to do. I pick up pens, I put pens down, I pick them up again, but I finally decided to put pen to paper and start making kind of these rough, sketchy flowers. So just taking a fine liner and outlining the flowers, and I put some leaves on there in a second, and then I just really loosely color them in. So not really trying to be inside the lines, just getting the color behind in the shape. And I really liked how this looked, and it kind of took the pressure off of making it feel perfect. I think a lot of times when I start a new journal, it can feel like, oh, I can't make any mistakes. It just has to be perfect. So I decided to go with a theme that was supposed to be imperfect, and then all the pressure came off. So I hope you like it. You can also see that I made a mistake when writing out my key. So I accidentally wrote task where I was supposed to write note, and I just went back in with a white gel pen and covered it up, and then when it was dry, I just wrote back over it as a note. So yeah, I definitely make mistakes, but the paper in this notebook is a lot more white than in my previous notebook, which is a little bit more cream. So covering up any mistakes is really easy, and I appreciate that. So moving on to the next page, I just wrote my name, Emily, in kind of this fun bouncy font that I've been loving. And then I just went in again and did some more leaves and flower doodles. And I've been using kind of these like four main colors. So this yellow, the red you see surrounding the key, and then a light gray, and then you'll see me go in with a pink, a light pink. So those are kind of the colors I used throughout this whole setup. So that is it for my key and title page, I guess, name page. And now I'm moving on to a quote page and just the intro to 2021 page. So I kept the flower and leaves theme going on this page, and I think this is actually one of my favorite spreads of my new notebook. Every time I open it up and I see this page, I'm just like, I still love you. You still look so good. So I recommend doing something like this. It was really simple, but it looks good, and I think just doing the outlines of the flowers and then being able to just messily fill it in, I just love the way that looked, and it made it really easy to do. So as you'll see in a second, the quote I decided to go with is "Live life in full bloom." I think this is a great reminder for myself that despite the circumstances and despite what's going on, it doesn't mean that my life needs to stop, and it doesn't mean I can't go out and enjoy small things that make me happy. And that is really actually where most of my happiness comes from, or where I'm able to kind of turn around my mood throughout the day, is just by enjoying the small things. So whether it's making myself a cup of tea, going for a walk outside, sitting in the sun and reading for 10 minutes or something so simple that we're still able to do can really have an effect on my mood. So this is just my reminder that despite whatever may be happening in the world, or wherever I am, anything that's outside of my control, it does not mean that my life is on hold. And it doesn't mean that I can't still enjoy the everyday. Plus, it goes with my theme, my flower theme, very well. So here you can see me filling in the 2021 in sort of this offset font. So I just did bubble letters, or outlined a bubble letter type font, and then you can see me struggling a little bit with the twos, but I'm going in with just my yellow marker and kind of recreating that bubble letter, just offset a little bit. And I really like the way that this looks. I think it really pops. The 2021 really pops off the page, and it's bright and it's fun, and it's just a great, like, bam, here's 2021. So I just love the way that it looks. And then for the leaves up top, you'll see I'm just kind of outlining them and not filling them in, and I actually really liked how that looks compared to the page on the left where I filled them in. I think it just gives them a little bit more dimension and doesn't look as flat. So if I were to do it again, I'd probably just outline them all, but I think it looks nice with the outlined leaves and then also the outlined 2021. And that is my quote and cover 2021 cover page. So now moving on to my future log. So last year I did a year at a glance and a future log, and that was just so much writing, and I literally never looked at really either of them. So this year I decided to not do a year at a glance because the way I set up this future log, it's kind of a year at a glance and a future log because I include the mini calendars. So it's doing it this way saves my hand a lot. Plus now I'm using these printables that I got from Plant-Based Bride here on YouTube. I'm one of her Patreons, and as a she has these in her shop. So if you want to purchase them, you can. They're open to everybody. You don't have to be a Patreon of hers to receive it, but I recommend it. I mean, it makes it go by so much faster, and your hand doesn't feel like it's falling off. Plus, there is no room for mistakes. So I just kind of cut those out, pasted them, and now I'm just going in and writing the names of the month. And yeah, I think that this will work well. My goal is to really use the spread more instead of looking at my phone or on my computer. I think it's a nice thing to have, and I want to get used to just referencing back to this page. I really want to set up my journal so that everything I need is all in one spot, and that's the point. So I'm hoping to use this more in 2021 than I did in 2020. So as you can see, I just highlighted the days of the week at the top, alternating between pink and gray. And I added some more of the flower doodles and put the future log at the bottom. And then I'm just going in and making those little standout things that were on, what are those called? I don't know, droplets or standout things that were also on the key on my first page. So just kind of tying that all in together. And yeah, that's my future log. I hope that I will use it more this year, and I still need to fill this out. I haven't gone back to fill in any of the spreads yet, but I will very soon. So that's my future log. And then moving on to my next spread is my grid spacing. So this I'm actually really proud of. I've noted, or last year I did like the traditional grid spacing where I just drew the lines and kind of divided the page in half, thirds, and quarters. And I found myself not using it, and I found myself like my brain just wasn't able to wrap around what I was supposed to be doing with it, which was strange. Like it wasn't helpful to me. So I tried to think about what would be helpful and how do I most often divide my page that I don't have to keep counting. And I saw this on Pinterest somewhere of like an idea of someone else doing it, and I thought that it would be helpful. So I just kind of sketched out the ones that would be the most pertinent to what I do in my journal. So I did both horizontal and vertical, and I did half, thirds, quarters, and I kind of just did it so that you can like divide the page up equally, sometimes with a space in between or without a space in between. And I really love how this turned out. Like, this is going to save me so much time. I don't know why I didn't do it last year. And I think this is like what everyone's talking about with bullet journals and how you need to make it work for you. I haven't seen anybody else on YouTube really do this, and maybe, I mean, that could be my fault of not watching enough videos, but you know, the traditional grid spacing just wasn't working for me, and it was like a waste of time, and it was hurting my brain trying to set it up. So I love how this came out, and I really think I'm going to use it a lot. You can see me right now just writing in the number of spaces in each of those boxes. And just remember, this is a B5, so it is a larger size notebook. So this may not be the correct dimensions for your notebook, but I recommend just like taking a pencil and sketching it out, because this will save you so much time over the course of the year, especially if you are like me and just was having a hard time working with the traditional grid spacing spread. And that is my grid spacing spread. I love it. Okay, so now moving on to the next spread, and my setup is my things to check out spread. So this is where I, throughout the years, just jot down like any sort of recommendations that friends or family give me, or things I see. Maybe I see a trailer on TV or something mentioned in a YouTube video. This is just where I write all that stuff down to keep track of it throughout the year, and then that way, if I'm ever, searching on Netflix or something and I don't know what to watch, I'll refer back to this and say, oh yeah, so-and-so told me about this. Let me check it out. So it's a great resource for me, and it just helps me kind of remember what was recommended and all of that good stuff. So I have music, movies, podcasts, and TV shows. I don't have books on here because I do read a ton, and I actually just keep track of that stuff on Goodreads. I might do a reading journal. We'll see. I don't know how helpful that will be for me, but we will see. So that is the things to check out spread. Pretty simple. And now I'm just moving on to the last two spreads, which are basically the same, and it's my 2021 in pictures or in photos spread. I did one of these last year in my bullet journal, and I got the idea from Amanda Rach Lee, which I'm sure all of you know. And I love the way this turned out. Even though 2020 turned out way different than I expected, and the photos turned out different, it was just like a cool way to see the whole year in a snapshot and be like, oh yeah, 2020 really did have some great moments and some great highlights. So I love this spread, and it really brings me back to the good times throughout the year. So I recommend it if you are at all curious in doing it yourself. And I usually just print out the photos on my printer from my phone, and my printer is definitely not a photo printer. So they're usually a little blurry and not so great, but if you have a great printer, that would be even better. Or if you just go get them printed like at a print shop, that would work too. But it's not like I take photos on my Polaroid camera in the moment all the time. Usually I just print them on my phone. So if anyone has a recommendation for like a small little printer that hooks up to your phone that has good quality, I'd be down to hear about it. Just like small photo paper. I've seen a couple, but I don't really know how good they are and if they are worth it just for this one spread. So, but if you love yours, then maybe we'll ask for it as a gift at some point. Yeah, so this is just the second side of that spread for the last 6 months. So I'm just outlining it in this gray color, and then I kind of left space around the photos because last year I found myself wanting to like put captions or write a little bit about what was going on in the photo. I didn't have a ton of room to do that, so this year I purposefully spread the photos out a little bit more to give me that space. And now I'm just writing in the months for each photo. So that is the last spread of my 2021 bullet journal setup. You will see me do a flip through in a second as I'm just cleaning off my desk. But I'm really happy with how this turned out. And I love this notebook so far. I just love the color of it. And it just feels so fresh and clean, and the pages are so white and thick, and I'm excited to really have fun and play around with it. Maybe get into painting, we'll see. So enjoy this little flip through, and I will be back probably with my January 2021 setup or my 2020 flip through. But yeah, so let me know in the comments if you have already set up your 2021 bullet journal, what your theme is. This channel is still very new, and I'm looking forward to making a bunch of more videos. So if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please consider subscribing. Give this video a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.